On this day, 92 years ago, December 5th, 1933, the United States government admitted defeat. They ratified the 21st Amendment, repealing Prohibition. The bars reopened, the breweries fired up the vats, the champagne flowed in the streets. History books tell you this was a victory for personal freedom. They tell you that reason prevailed over moralism. They are lying to you. The government didn't legalize alcohol because they cared about your freedom. They legalized it because they were broke. In 1933, the Great Depression was strangling Washington. Income tax revenue had collapsed because nobody had any income. Tariffs were down because global trade had stopped. The government was desperate for cash, and they looked at the black market, run by Al Capone, Luciano, the mobs, and they saw a river of untaxed gold. They realized that the Mafia was running a better business model than the Treasury. So, they did what every failing state eventually does. They nationalized the vice. This is the cycle of the sin economy. First, the government bans something to claim moral superiority. They create a black market. Prices skyrocket because of the risk premium. Criminals get rich. Then, when the government runs out of money, they reverse course. They legalize it, regulate it, and tax it into oblivion. They don't want to stop the sin, they want to be the dealer. Look around you in 2025. Does this pattern look familiar? Look at cannabis. For 80 years, they put men in cages for a plant. They destroyed lives. They militarized the police. Now, states are begging you to buy it. They are issuing licenses. They are collecting billions in taxes to plug their pension deficits. Did the plant change? No, the government's bank balance changed. Look at sports betting. 10 years ago, it was a crime. Today, every commercial on your phone is for DraftKings or FanDuel. The state governments realized they were losing money to offshore bookies, so they became the bookie. They encourage you to gamble away your paycheck on your phone so they can take a 20% cut of the misery. And now, look at crypto. For a decade, they told you it was for drug dealers and terrorists. They tried to ban it. They tried to crush it. But now that BlackRock is involved, now that they can tax the capital gains, suddenly the SEC approves the ETFs. They are moving from ban to tax. They are moving from prohibition to regulation, not to protect you, to feed themselves. The lesson of December 5th is that the government has no morals, it only has interests. When the debt gets high enough, every crime becomes a commodity. But there is a darker layer to this. Prohibition taught the government something dangerous: the surveillance state. To fight the bootleggers, they created the ATF. They expanded the FBI. They normalized wiretapping. They normalized the idea that the federal government has the right to police what you put in your body and what you do in your basement. When Prohibition ended, did those agencies disappear? No, they grew. They found new enemies. They found new budgets. We are entering a new era of prohibition today, but it isn't about alcohol. It's about energy. It's about meat. It's about mobility. They are creating carbon credits and ESG scores. They are demonizing cheap energy the same way they demonized cheap gin. Why? So they can sell you the solution at a premium. So they can tax your travel. So they can tax your food. The government operates exactly like a cartel. They demand protection money, taxes. If you don't pay, they put you in a cage. If a competitor arises, black market, they use violence to crush it until they decide to buy it out. Al Capone went to prison for tax evasion. That is the ultimate irony. He wasn't jailed for murder. He was jailed because he didn't give the biggest gangster, Uncle Sam, his cut. Today, as you watch the markets, remember that every legalization is just a desperate grab for revenue. They will legalize everything before they cut spending. They will legalize drugs, gambling, eventually perhaps even worse, as long as they get their transaction fee. You are not a citizen to them. You are a tax mule. And when the mule gets tired, they just find a new drug to keep it walking. Prohibition didn't end. It just changed targets. The state is still in the business of controlling your life, one permit at a time. Raise a glass today, not to freedom, but to the realization of who actually owns the bar. I am the architect, and I will see you tomorrow.